Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I am Liz Quinn, your lead Scentsy consultant. So today I have for you Part 5 in our series, the top 10 of all time for me personally through my entire Scentsy experience. We're going category by category through the general Scentsy catalog categories. So today we're going to be doing Spice, and just as an upfront, I am filming this in March. Spice is a fall-winter category. There is only, I think, one on this table that's even available right now, so just know that going into it, that these are things you can look forward to in Bring Back My Bars and the fall-winter catalog again. But right now, we only have 2 scents in our Spice category in the catalog, and I am choosing my favorite of the 2 to include in this list. So, top 10 of all time. I think my personal favorite category in the whole wide world has got to be Spice. I love bakery, I love woods, but Spice is just who I am. There's so much here on this table that is just the best of the best that I warm, especially in cool weather, constantly in my home. My absolute favorite Scentsy scent of all time, hands down ever, is my number 1 in this category. And out of every single bar that I discuss with you in this entire series, it is my top bar of all time. So here we have Cozy Fireside. And obviously, if you watch my channel, you knew what was leading up. Cozy Fireside is the most nostalgic bar I've ever had in my entire life. We had it for Christmas this last Sense of the Season round, and I was so glad because this used to be a catalog staple fall winter, and 2 seasons ago they retired it, and I was absolutely scarred for life because I am supposed to always club all of my favorites, right? I was so convinced that this was never coming out of the catalog that I didn't club it. Or actually, I think I clubbed it, and then part of the way through the summer I pulled it, and I was so upset. So Cozy Fireside is a mix of wonderful smoldery embers, ginger, and just Christmas, fall, winter nostalgia. It smells like so many candles that I grew up sniffing in my home in the 1980s as a little girl. And my mom was not real big into home fragrance, but it just seems as though everything smelled like this in the 1980s. And so it is the most powerful direct connection to Christmas Eve, to Christmas, to that entire season in my life. And besides, it is a spice bar, and it is the most beautiful one I think ever invented. So that is a lot to say about Cozy Fireside. It is a nice medium strong to strong throw. It lasts a very long time, and it is my absolute number 1 bar. There's just something about this. It's not something that I can melt outside of the fall-winter season, though. I really only melt this November and December because it is so emotionally special to me. People that aren't as emotionally nostalgic about it could probably melt it October through March, but I really save this bar for right around the holidays. And my number 2 bar is my second favorite scent of all time from Scentsy ever, hands down. And this is the bar that, since Cozy Fireside is too much of a scent-specific seasonal thing, this bar covers all my bases for the rest of the year, and most people, again, probably wouldn't melt this all year round, but my all-time favorite bar for all year is Cozy Chai. This bar is a chai latte, or almost like a gingerbread spice latte. It is so good. I know that Scentsy says that this has caramel, and it has all of the spices, and then like the creaminess of a chai latte. It is the most exceptional scent. It lasts forever. It makes your house smell absolutely superbly welcoming. And it is the quintessential, besides apple butter frosting, hug in a bar. And if I had to choose between Cozy Spice and apple butter frosting, as far as I could only have one ever, it would be so hard for me. But Cozy Chai would probably just squeak by a little bit more because I have loved this for so many years. We had it in the catalog, then it disappeared. My stash dwindled. That was about the time I was figuring out what Scentsy Club was, and then we got it back for Bring Back My Bar, and it has been in my club ever since. This is so good, you guys. If we get it back for another Bring Back My Bar and you love spice at all, the performance on this bar, the strength, the longevity, the profile, it's amazing. So then, the 2 sides of a coin, I said I was going to do that again. These 2, the Cozy Chai and the Pumpkin Chai, are so similar that I really just wanted to present them as one space, one check on my list of top 10. So if you can't get cozy chai, pumpkin chai is cozy chai with the smoothness and sweetness of pumpkin added, and that really is all the difference between the two. So pumpkin chai is a little bit more updated. It isn't quite as spicy. It's still very spicy, but there's a smoothness and a sweetness to our pumpkin chai, which just retired, and hopefully we will have it back next fall. Both of them are in my club. This one's in my bi-monthly, or no, did I put this in my quarterly? I don't know. I got so many bars in there. It's hard to remember. I might have put this in my quarterly because cozy chai is also in my quarterly, and I can pretty much use them alternately. But this one is also so nice. So as I said, if you missed out on cozy chai and you have the chance to get any pumpkin chai there similar enough, this one just being a little bit more frothy, a little bit sweeter, a little bit more mellow, that you get pretty much the same experience. I am so happy that I have both because I absolutely love that chai spice scent profile. So next is my soul in a bar when it comes to the spice category, and probably out of every bar here, if people know me, and they know my home, and they know my perfumes, and they know my personality, I think maple apple bourbon is probably truly me in a bar. It's just how I roll. It's slightly spicy, it's slightly apple, it's got this woody complexity from the bourbon and sort of a woodiness. It's very warm, it's reasonably assertive without being obnoxious. I hope that's how I am. And this bar just makes me incredibly happy. It is definitely in my bi-monthly. I hope it comes back next fall. This is a divisive bar, though, because of the maple in it. People don't really care for it, or they love it. It's one or the other, and that seems to be how people take me, too. So anyway, this is just one of my absolute top 10 of all time bars. You know, there are a few in each category where I tell you if I did a top 10 of all the bars I've ever melted, this would make it into that category. Next is another one which was new this last fall, and I have fallen so hard for it, and that is the gorgeous Blackberry Spice, you guys. Oh, and honestly, if I could only have one category, it would be so hard. If I could only have one category where I could only melt that ever, I would probably choose Spice. Bakery and Woods would be really close, but I think Spice is just the nicest for me. So this Blackberry Spice is one of the most wonderful fruity cedar and spice bars Scentsi's ever invented. It's got very good medium, sometimes medium strong performance. It has blackberry, it has a little bit of apple, it's got blueberry, it's got cedar, and then it has nice warming spices in the background. So if you are offended by all spice all the time bars, this one and another one of the purple ones that I'm going to mention here might be more your style if you want some spice, because this is spice and fruit and woods all gently combined in a way where this is just a perfect, like if I was going to sell my house, I'd probably put this bar in kind of a bar. It's amazing, and I'm not selling my house, but it's just so good. The next one was my backup when they took away my cozy Fireside, and that is the solid and absolutely beautiful Clove and Cinnamon. And I will say that when Clove and Cinnamon and cozy Fireside have been melting for a couple of days, they smell pretty much identical. You cannot really distinguish between the two. They are both old formulas, and I bet you that Clove and Cinnamon is probably the base for cozy Fireside. Cozy Fireside just has more layers. It's got ginger, it's got smoky embers. The Clove and Cinnamon is a powerhouse, and it is definitely in my top 10 bars of all time. If you had me whittle it down to just the bars that I would melt, where I'd have to give up everything else, this one would absolutely make it into maybe even in my top 5. It is a bar that you're either going to love or hate. It has fabulous performance, and because it's got the clove and the cinnamon, more clove, and I am a clove addict. Like, I even use clove essential oil. It's very good and medicinal, but I use it on cuts and scrapes and different things, and other people in my family just wrinkle their nose, and I love smelling like cloves. So anyway, and I'm not really an essential oils person. I just have a couple. I love lavender, I love peppermint, and I love my clove oil. Anyway, so Clove and Cinnamon, such a lovely bar. Such a powerhouse, and definitely one of my favorites of all time. So next is a bakery spice bar. They put it in the spice category. I know the rest of you were probably a little nervous if you love this bar of why was this not in your bakery pile? And that is pumpkin cinnamon swirl, because really it is a spice with a lot of bakery. It's so good, you guys. And again, this is a bar where if you don't like spice, you should try this if you love bakery or if you love things that are creamy and mellow. Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl is one of the most gentle, happy, and hearth and home bars that's in this category that I think would generally appeal to anyone. It is creamy vanilla. It's definitely got that pumpkin cinnamon type thing going on. It's got a decent amount of cinnamon, but it's tempered so well by the vanilla and the pumpkin. Pumpkin just calms anything else down, especially spice, that it is really good and probably quite universally appealing. This is safely in my club. I would be very, very surprised if it does not come back next fall. I sure hope it does, and this is a really good one, you guys. Medium strength, sometimes medium strong, goes for a whole day very, very well in your home. And I'll even melt that in rainy summer weather. Now, next is one that I fell really, really hard for this particular fall-winter season, and that is the adorable Dancing Sugar Plums. Now, this is also in the spice category. I would put this in fruit, personally, but they said it belonged in spice. And this is so nice. This is spiced plums with a little bit of apple, and it's got a really nice, just sort of simmer pot kind of spice background. It's not sharp, it's not aggressive, it's super, super mellow and chill for a spice bar. It's very good with Blackberry Spice. It's also really, really good with apple butter frosting and alternate warmers. That is a fabulous combination. So this is a really good bar, you guys, especially if you're scared of hardcore spice. The next one is the only one in the Spring Summer catalog that I think is worthy of top 10, and that is Cinnamon Vanilla. This is a very good bar, and I'm always excited that it comes back every spring, summer, and then I always tell myself I'm not going to club it. I think I'm going to next year because I was scared it wasn't coming back. And this is a bar that takes spice down a notch. So again, if you really can't handle all the cinnamon, but you want somewhat spicy in your house, this vanilla and cinnamon, it's got a little bit of coconut milk too. It's mellower, it's still spicy, it still smells like cinnamon, but it's very welcoming. It's very much like sticky cinnamon bun, which I put in the bakery category, but without that icing sweetness. They're very similar. This one's a little bit better performer, very long lasting. It's a really good smell. And I love this August and September. And I know I've said this a million times now, but it's very good in alternate warmers with something orchard fruity. It's a fabulous bar. And then I was really having a hard time. Both of these I really want to put still in my top 10, but they are different bars. One of them is the Marvelous Autumn Hearth. And this is one where people tend to either love it or be offended by the tonka bean in it. Oh, it's so good, you guys. This is so good. This is an August, September, October scent for me. And then sometimes this kind of weather where it's still kind of snowy and cold and drizzly, March and early April. It is apple and cinnamon. Honestly, even though we have an apple and cinnamon sticks, which I did not put on the table, I do not find that one to have the it factor for spice that makes you feel hugged. And that is what I love about all of these bars. They hug you back in the air. They're just so good. But this is apple cinnamon that hugs you. And then it's got that little bit of smoky tonka bean and a little bit of smolder. Not a ton of smolder. I've got another one here that I included in my honorable mentions that's more smoldery. But this, oh guys, this is so nice. And it has grown on me because when I first started melting this, I would take it out of the warmer because I didn't like the tonka bean. So I got used to that extra, there's almost like a little bit of vanilla and funk that goes with the tonka bean note, and then there's the apple, and there's the cinnamon, and there's the hearthiness. Oh, it's so good. And I know I'm just stuck on talking about this on repeat. I just love these bars, guys. These are my favorites ever. Okay, and then the other one that was top 10 is Sweet Orange Pomander. Oh, you guys. And this was my other consolation prize when I lost Cozy Fireside for a couple years. Do I have stuff on my nose again? That's what happens all the time when we do these videos. I see that all of us with that review, we get stuff stuck on our noses. You guys, this bar makes me so happy. Oh, this is spices and orange peel. It's really just dried orange peel. There's nothing juicy about this. And depth. And it's very much like Welcome Home by Yankee, but I think a little bit better because of the orange. I also have this in a bar in my club. This scent makes me so happy. Anyway, so that's my top 10, which is maybe more than 10, but I just had to. They're all my top 10. So next I've got my honorable mention 10. And before I go any farther, for many of you, Welcome Home is definitely your favorite spice scent. I put this in here to honor all of you I just don't love it all that much. But I know like Linda H loves it. I know a lot of people that are spice averse really like that one. So go and check that out in our catalog if you want to dabble in spice without it in any way being aggressive. But this is the thing I love about spice, is that it's so assertive. And so that is why that one is never really in my top roster. Because there's another 10 here that just beat it out for me, and that would have been like number 11. Okay, so in my honorable mentions, the very top one would be the most popular nostalgic Christmas scent that we've ever produced, and that is Christmas Cottage. And for almost all the other reviewers out there, this would have made it into their top 10. I know that. This one is just like B-team for me. I don't know why. It is beautiful, and I get very excited about warming it, but it tends to overstay its welcome for me. I wonder if it is because there is so much orange and raspberry in here along with the clove. And a little bit of cinnamon, and I know like Robin H, this is her favorite Christmas smell. Many people, this is what Cozy Fireside is to me. I love warming it with Cozy Fireside. I couldn't imagine a Christmas without it. This one is always my supporting actor, and it's always in my club because I'm always afraid to lose it. But man, between the two, any of the others that are on this table. Oh, and obviously my dog sees something in the backyard. Can you come? Can you come? She's letting me know that there's something I need to know about. Shepherds, always on the watch. Can you come? So next is another one that I love almost as much as Clove and Cinnamon, and I love to melt it, and it is Cinnamon Bear. And I love, good girl, I love mixing Cinnamon Bear, you guys. This is such smooth, quality cinnamon. This will not give you that harsh note that some cinnamon candles will. And I think a lot of people are scared of Cinnamon Bear because they've had bad experiences with a cheap candle. It's smooth, even though it's spicy. And some of my favorite blends have bergamot in them. Scentsy has never said there is bergamot in this Cinnamon Bear, but that tends to kind of mellow and smooth out the harsh edges of cinnamon. They do say this is cinnamon with a touch of clove, and people that are spice averse, they never melt this bar, and then one day they finally get around to it, and I always see on the channels, it cracks me up, you know, Cinnamon Bear wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I want you to know, you have to try this next fall, winter. You just got to, you guys. And if you don't like it straight, mix it with around the campfire. Mix it with a pine scent. Mix it. It's a great mixer. Mix it with vanilla. And it's different if you mix this with a vanilla than cinnamon vanilla, because this will give you more of that perky, beautiful cinnamon. People call it red hot cinnamon. I guess it is, but it doesn't have that harsh edge. It just doesn't. You gotta try it. I feel like Thumper, you know, the rabbit. He says all these things with gigantic eyes and he gets all excited, and I totally feel like him when I'm talking about some of my favorite bars. All right, the next one is a bar most of you love to hate. Like, you love to hate this bar, and I love it. And it is the very controversial Amber Hollow. I almost said Amber Road. That one's good too, but I've only got half a climb of that left, and that's really more like woody. It smells, I know, very Middle Eastern or Indian. It has heavy spices. It has clove leaf. It's got clove. It's got pepper. Oh, it's so good. And this is a bar most people just cannot stand, and they don't want it anywhere near their home. But I am so glad that I was able to pick up a little pile of it in our last flash sale, and I look forward to melting this every fall, and it just makes me a very happy girl. All right, the next one is a fantastic spice pumpkin. I think this might even be in the bakery category, but I consider it a spice bar. And that is the gorgeous Scary Good. And many people love this bar. This is a perfect blend of smoky butterscotch, spices, and pumpkin. It's so good, you guys. Oh, the butterscotch comes out of here. But when you melt this for a period of time, the spices are very predominant. So I don't know that it's fair to totally call it a bakery bar. I think it is an equal amount of spice and bakery. I have a few of these. I did not club this, and I'm going to regret it if this one gets pulled for next year, because it is scary good. It's so good. All right, another one that's on the table, which I think is funny that Scary Good would be in bakery and this would be in spice, that's why I put them both in spice, is the beautiful and slightly subdued Farm Stand Pumpkin. If they're going to say this is a spice bar, Scary Good is more of a spice bar. This is caramel and pumpkin and cinnamon stick. And it's just good. And if you hate spice, can you come? If you hate spice, you've got to try Farm Stand Pumpkin. It has this very interesting quality that no other bar Scentsy produces has. It is so beautiful. And it's just calming. This is a calming, very warm, almost like you're out in a haymow in the fall and there are pumpkins piled in the barn underneath you or something along those lines. It's sweet, it's pumpkin-y, and then the cinnamon is just a whisper in the background. Kind of like the cinnamon that's in Dancing Sugar Plums. It's not predominant. It's just there. And then the caramel sweetness. Oh, I cannot say enough good about this. It's just, this is a medium performer at best. Some people struggle to smell it, so I couldn't really put it in my top 10. But again, this one's always in my club, and I always really, really enjoy it. All right, we got a few left. Oh, what's next? Now, some of these I'm putting in because they are spice and some other category. But this one's all spice all the time, and that is the Amazing Autumn Sunset. Now, this is an OG. This is one people don't give a lot of attention to, so I don't know whether it will come back next fall. This has got to be the best performing bar for me personally that Scentsi's ever made. This thing will go for days and days. Cashmere and Corduroy goes for forever also, but this Autumn Sunset is spices and pumpkin. And for me, when I melt this, I almost get some really deep berry or pomegranate buried in the notes. It is very similar to Clove and Cinnamon and Cinnamon Bear, but yet it has the earthiness to it. It's got that truly fall. That's why it's called Autumn Sunset. And it's one of those really cute two-tone bars too. This is such a classic, and I think if you have not tried it, and it does live to fight another day next fall, if you like Clove and Cinnamon and you like Cinnamon Bear, you've got to try Autumn Sunset also. It is fantastic. All right, the next one is a bar that was in one of our Harvest Trios, and it is one of my personal favorites, and I have saved it in my club, and that is the Cranberry Pumpkin Spice. This is probably the most quintessentially Yankee scent that Scentsi's ever made. Like, this smells like Yankee. This is that profile. Oh, and it's so good. It smells just like all the Yankee tarts from when I was in high school. It's so good. So it's got pumpkin, and it's got cranberry, and it has sweetness, and it has cinnamon spice. But it's all blended, and it is so approachable and so homey, and this one always makes me so, so happy. It's just that not as many people love this or know about it, so I put it in my B category. All right, and then the last three here, I've got good old spiced Ember Glow, which I have grown to like more than I used to. I was so mad when this literally bumped Cozy Fireside out of the catalog one fall. But this is very interesting, and it's definitely a more modern take on Cozy Fireside. This has smoked apple and vanilla and real glowy embers, and it has grown on me slowly over this last fall season. So it's good, and it's definitely long-lasting. It is just not quite as warm. Like, there's embery, smoky smolderiness rather than warmth and cinnamon spice that's more predominant here. It's almost like a burned clove that's been smoked, but in a beautiful way. It's just something I had to get used to. So then my last two, I guess they're berries and spice and woods and spice. So we have the gorgeous spiced berries that was a Christmas scent at first. It's got frankincense and myrrh and berries and cinnamon. And it is so exotic and complex. This is a Christmas Eve to New Year's Day kind of a scent for me. It is excellent. It throws beautifully. It lasts a long time. It's very dark and complex, but it's a little bit sweeter than, say, Joy and Wonder, which if this had not come back and I didn't have it in my collection, I would have included Joy and Wonder, but I like Spice Berries better. It's really good. And then last but not least, I probably should have put this in the woods category, but it is equal parts woods and spice. And this is the beautiful cinnamon pine cones. This one's actually even available on the website right now. I'm filming this early March because it is a holdover from December as scent of the month. This is an amazing bar, you guys. It's so good. But I just haven't had as much experience with this. I'm trying not to put too many brand new bars in these recommendations. I have a few because sometimes you really need to walk with a bar for a while, kind of walk a mile in its shoes to know whether or not it's truly a standout bar. I would not have put Spiced Ember Glow in here last year, but now that I have melted it again and again over the course of the last 6 months, I can say it is a very solid performer and is worthy of some press. But man, this cinnamon pine cones is good, and then this is amazing mixed with very snowy spruce, which I did not even talk about in our top 10 or even honorable mentions in the woods because everybody knows about it. They know about that and iced pine. I wanted to highlight some of the others. But Very Snowy Spruce is phenomenal. So is Iced Pine. And either of them, especially Very Snowy Spruce, is great mixed with the cinnamon pine cones. This one, there's so much cinnamon in here, and then there's the earthy groundedness from the pine cone, and then a little bit of actual, some sort of Christmas tree note. Absolutely beautiful bar. Has real soul, real depth, and is one of my favorites that is newer. So that's the spice category, and I think this one, even though I was trying not to make it the longest one in my series, probably is, because as you can tell by now, I am a spice girl. So have a great day, guys, and I'll be back with the next one, which I believe is going to be the fresh category very soon. Bye-bye.